Hello everyone, my name is Sunny and today's reading is going to be about what artistic talents do you possess, and starting from the left all the way to the right we have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. So go ahead and stop the video if you feel like you need more time, otherwise skip to the timestamp in the description or comment section and I'll see you at the selection of your pile. So on to pile 1, move these cards and start with these. I'm going to show you a close-up of each card first. So we have Nine of Pentacles reversed, Seven of Swords upright, and Five of Pentacles upright. Sorry, I moved. So I'm going to move these closer. So something interesting that the first pile has to say before I start into more in detail is that these talents that you have, possibly you work from them from morning to night. The reason I say this is because there's two cards with daylight, outside daylight, and then there's one card that's like the light source is from the inside of a house, right? Even though it's like a church castle of sorts, but this is more or less the time frames that you use. You can either start from morning till dawn, from morning till evening, and then in the evening you start using a light source where you start using that because that's more or less the way you're supposed to use it, I guess, when it comes the way you can use your talents, right? Or your talents require you to work in an outside source, maybe for safety reasons or because it has proper better lighting with the natural lighting. And I say this because the Nine of Pentacles, you can see there's like a garden area outside. So you could possibly be liking to garden if you like to garden in that space, or you like to grow your own crops, vegetation, maybe also, whatever you farm of your choice, right? That's what you have to, right? You need that light, you need that outside source. You go outside and you work in these fields, right? Or you could be near, like, I feel it's ground area, not necessarily water. I don't feel too much water sources here, so I don't think necessarily you might be working close to by like a lake of sorts. But you possibly just water it yourself manually if it is a garden. Or I think you can also work with animals. If you work with animals outside, you definitely have to bring them outside just so that they get some. Maybe you like walk animals, walk dogs. You possibly like to care for your birds, bring them outside, things like that. And if I were to use another artistic ability here, is that you possibly maybe like to maybe take scenery pictures. Maybe you'd like to take pictures outside of like beautiful landscapes. That could be another thing. You could be a photographer in here. That's more or less some of the skill sets. And that's why you need outside light source. So I feel that here either you use a lot of light, because there's a lot of light here. That's why I think of photography too. If it's nighttime, you can also use specific lighting. But more or less your talents require you to use a lot of light so you can see better, or for safety reasons, of course. And if it's not that, you work from day to night continuously because you lose track of time. Another thing, I just feel for some reason you're a photographer. A lot of people are photography people here when it comes to artistic talents, because this man here, he's carrying swords, right? But you could be carrying all your equipment, heavy equipment, and you're trying to be careful because it's expensive. And I think that, metalwork, even at that, you could possibly be a welder. You could do a lot of, I think if it's artistic talents, I think that you could knit, you could brush, you could you could use brushes, easels, carry like those types of equipments where you need all that equipment to go outside and paint, possibly also. You have to be careful, or you could also be using sharp objects. This is sword, so if you are a welder and you use sharp objects or heavy objects, or if you're a wood cutter and you use wood, you like to build stuff or little crafting things, like, like little wood pieces, you have to be careful with the machinery, and that's why you have to watch yourself. But I feel that for some reason, I feel that you guys have had accidents because you've gotten cocky, or you misused your strength, or you miscalculated things. The reason I say that is because this pentacle energy over here, the man is limping and the lady is like not limping, but they're walking slow, and I think he's wearing crutches and walking on one leg, and I think that maybe heavy items might have fallen on your leg, or you might have gotten your leg injured, or you had to go to the ER, urgency care, because you might have cut yourself, or you might have just had injuries because you were not paying attention, or you were exhausted. But again, you might have mishandled these, not your talents, but you might have mishandled the items that you have to carry around, and you've gotten injured because of them. And these might not necessarily be the areas that you've gotten injured, but you could have possibly gotten injured in your limbs, I feel. So some of these talents that I already mentioned some, but I definitely feel that some other talents besides these, you could be other talents. This isn't for everybody, but you could also be someone that maybe you not an acrobat, but if you work in these, like, these are so specific, so it's not for everyone, but these are just, for those people. I think that people that work in, like, they're not carnies. I think carnies are the people who basically lure you in to play the games, but they're the acrobats. I think they have proper terms. People who work in those sorts of scenarios where you entertain people, that could be it also. Or this is a long track, because not many people work in, like, circus related areas, but people who have to, maybe you're a magician and you do magic tricks, and doing these magic tricks have cost you some injuries, and trial and error. Sometimes you end up learning from your mistakes and what not to do so that you don't injure yourself again. But I definitely think these are some thoughts. I think that some creative artistic jobs that you could be is just someone who, I just feel that you work outside, and that's why I keep thinking you're most of these are like photographers, or you're illustrators, or people who paint outside, or people who take landscape, or you do landscape art, like the people who garden and do, like, landscaping. That could be it too. Those are pretty fun to watch on YouTube, actually. And you could work with animals too. You could work with training them, walking dogs. I think you could be a welder. You could be someone that's working with sharp tools, like jewelry maker. Even at that, jewelry makers also have crafty hands, and they have to work with sharp objects, and I forgot their names, but they have little hammers, and they go against these metal plates, and sometimes you can get your fingers in there hurt. Maybe you have done, I think of also fashion here because of the clothing. So if you do, like, pieces of clothing where you create, maybe you're not a fashion, I don't want to say fashion designer, but you can be. But the people who make clothing, they're seamstresses. There you go. They're seamstresses, yeah. The people who work with clothing, and I want to say edit them. You basically manufacture them and do them and fix them according to what people need. You could work with textiles, fabrics as well. You could create them too. You could dye them possibly too outside. I feel that you like to tie-dye perhaps clothing as a free, like an easy talent also. I think that you could also possibly just do like maybe like you like to knit or crochet animal related items, or crochet things or make clothing for animals too in the outside. I think that whatever these talents are, they usually create you. I feel that you create like you're a freelancer sometimes. Some of these people look like they're freelancers because they have stability here. I know there's like a reverse and like an upright, but what I'm saying is there's pentacle energy, and pentacle is a stable income, and I feel that you create stable income by doing these talents of yours. You could also, I feel that you could also work with your body, like all of your body, not just your hands. There's movement here between these two cards. I know this one's like going away and this one's going the opposite way, but maybe you're kind of going in opposite directions all the time. So maybe you have to kind of go from one room to the other, inside the house or outside. So these are just some of the examples that I thought of. So these are just some, I know I kind of went on like job fields, I think, but I was really trying to come up with these like talents that you could possibly have. So yeah, I mean, you could also be even like, you could dye hair too. The reason I say this is because I'm looking at their hair, like they have like, I know they have hats, but I think of the people who cover they don't put foil, but they put foil pieces of the hair so that it warms, and like basically it creates a color change. But the heat, not the heater, the hair dryer, but it's the one connected to the seat. These are some things just super small amount of people would relate to. And yeah, I mean, these are the talents that I feel for this pile. I definitely don't think that for this pile your talents might have gotten you injured, or just gotten you to maybe like waste a lot of money in it. I think it's an expensive habits, I feel, of your talents. But either way, it still provides you some source of income. So I really hope you enjoyed this pile one. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and share. It really helps me out with the algorithm. And I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you soon. Make it a good day because you made a good day, not because I told you to. So if you were attracted to pick a different pile, go ahead and pick a pile there. There could be a message there for you, and I'm going to start with pile number 2. So I'm going to give you a close-up pile 2 of your first card. The first card is Page of Wands reversed. The second card that you have is Queen of Cups upright. Oops, I don't want to slip. And the next card is the Four of Cups reversed. Oops, sorry, sometimes I think I put it right in the center. So, pile number 2, what are your artistic talents? I think that most of your artistic talents are very calming, or they calm your soul. I feel there's so much blue here, so there's so much serenity, and just a sweet demeanor. I just get a very sweet demeanor from you, very calming. I suddenly, like, not that pile 1 wasn't calming. I think last pile was one color. If you were attracted to pick that color, great. I mean, not the color, that pile, you could understand why. But this is a different tone. This gives me serenity, calm, and, I mean, being calm, the state of being calm. And I also feel it's pure, just peaceful, grounding. But it just feels like a very just calm. Like I can let go and relax. That's what I feel with this color. There's such strong blue. And I feel that maybe your talents require you to do most of your work outside or in the daylight, where it's not like early in the morning or not specifically in the midday, but sort of in between that time frame and sunset. It's just a very relaxing time frame, I think, where it's kind of slow. I think, like, not slow where it's your speed of slow, but slow enough where you get to relax. Sorry, I was trying to center them. So that's the color field I feel for you in this pile. So with the Page of Wands reversed, I feel that for you, pile number 2, some artistic talents that you could have is knowing how to kind of give orders. I know that's like not a talent, but I feel that you can kind of give orders or give direction of where you want to, like, you take executive position. So I feel that, I know it's not like a king or queen or a higher, because the page is still kind of green, but I feel that you know how to maybe boss yourself around, know where to kind of go with your next direction. Some talents I feel that you could be into is, I think that maybe you guys like really work with a lot of clothing. Both Page and Queen have a lot of fabrics on their bodies, and I feel that you possibly create a lot of clothing pieces for yourself and for people too. Maybe you create dresses, like wedding dresses, or what's that, prom dresses. There you go. I was trying to think, like, what's that special occasion? Prom dresses for people, and you make them feel like queens, and you make yourself feel like a queen too, because you make people happy. You make people feel like it's their special day. I feel that's this energy I feel for this pile is just someone who makes people feel like they're Cinderella. For some reason, I keep thinking of Cinderella here. It's that Queen of Cups in the center that's like, boom. But this one's someone that's very eccentric. Look at all those funky textiles that he has on his clothing. You're someone that possibly likes to work with fun, interesting pieces, but you can also make something traditional that's used on special occasions, but you go from both something that can be eccentric and maybe day to day to special occasion, but still traditional. You can kind of mix it around. That's what I feel for this one. Fashion illustrator, seamstress, person who likes drawing too, perhaps, but I feel that, because I think of people here with the drawing and painting, mostly because there's always models, or maybe that's what you're into. I think of the Emperor's New Clothes. There's people who model for you and they pose. I don't want to call them posers, but they're the people who pose for you, so they have different poses that you can work with. And whether these models have clothing or whether they're nude, you know these are the usually these are the poses that they make. They're standing up and then they're sometimes sitting down. And they always have interesting things next to them, like fabrics, chairs, fruits, candles, vintage pieces, frameworks, things like that. It's always weird items that are like interesting to draw and paint. But I definitely think this is outside. This isn't so much inside. So, or at least if you do, I think you have a window to beautiful scenery. But I do think it's outside. So maybe you like to do this and you like to go outside every now and then. But again, these are just some interesting talents. You can look at bird watching too. You're into nature watching, there you go. But bird watchers are also a thing. You could be into, I think you could be into maybe doing architecture too as well. I know there's no architecture here whatsoever, but you do like landscaping or just stuff like that. You could be a graphic illustrator also. I don't think that's a proper word. I think graphic designer and illustrator are two different things. But needless to say, you can create, I know these are inside computer areas where you would be doing this, but you could be inside in a computer creating these interesting characters. I think you could do a lot of character development also. If these aren't up your alley, I think you could also be someone who, maybe you do also like makeup or costume. Oh my god, I just realized you could be doing costume. I don't know, there's a niche environment where you could be doing costume or special event. Like I've actually myself have hired myself a few times when I wanted special, like because I like anime, so I've dressed as myself as cosplay. There you go, cosplaying. That's the word. Yeah, I think you can maybe do cosplaying yourself, or you do also both. where you create pieces for cosplayers, and that could create a revenue for you because you're so eccentric. I think this page and the queen are super elaborate. So they do a lot of elaborate work, I think. And it's visible. So I feel that that's what you kind of do. These are some talents. Again, I think that I might do another few readings of these. I really like these. These are pretty cool. It's interesting. It's like a niche, I guess, niche reading. But yeah, and then with the Queen of Cups, I think that you're someone that's, your work shows that it comes from the heart, right? And I think that I think that's why I keep thinking of people who do like seamstress and stuff, because she's sitting down, and I know she's holding like a cup, I think. Is it a cup? It looks like a cup, but I think that you have to work with what's the machine called for the sewing machine? I spaced out, sorry. So you could be working with the sewing machine, you could do crochet, you could do a lot of manual things with your hands, or creating like staffs, creating those, I forget, those pieces, those side pieces that are super expensive, that are super, I think they're so cool. I love seeing people like create swords or create the extra piece of the character by go ahead and making like things out of foam, out of paper mache, of paints and watercolors. And then there's also like metal pieces that you can add, jewelry. It's just, I can't think of specific things of like extra pieces, but every time you think of a character, you think of the extra, accessories that they have. Like imagine like Sailor Moon, and when you think of Sailor Moon, aside from her costume outfit, her little hair accessories, her jewelry is also something that stands out. That's what you could possibly be buying or creating for others to purchase. And then with the Four of Cups reversed, I feel that you kind of hand over people, and they kind of like, maybe you're also a graphic designer too, and you kind of have to show people your work, and they will like it, they will not like it, but either way you kind of adjust your work according to what they need. And that's why I say that. I think that you're someone that really just kind of tries to find that comfort zone for people to really appreciate what you've done. You create things for them, and you illustrate. You're very technical, I feel. It just gives me designer. So I think that that's what I get for these piles. I think these are some of the talents that you could possibly have for your artistic, creative endeavors. Yeah, I think maybe your work design really speaks for itself. So that's the advertising you create. I don't think that you need to really go after people because they come to you. I think that you definitely know how to attract people by showing off the work visually. You're just very visual. This pile is very visual. So I really hope that helped pile number 2. Please like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps me out with my algorithm. And I'll see you soon. Pick a different pile if you're called upon to, and otherwise just, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. There's free will in everything, and this is just another fast sort of pick a card. So pile number 3. Yeah. Okay, I got 4 cards accidentally, so okay. So pile number 3, your first card. Oh, sorry. Is this, I'm sorry, I'm trying to, there you go. It's this Page of Pentacles. There you go. It's because I'm trying to focus, I'm so sorry. It keeps going in and out. The next card is the Knight of Cups upright. And then the next card is the Six of Pentacles upright, sorry. I wasn't expecting this card, but oh well. It's the 8 of Cups reversed, right? I think it's 8. Yes. I did count. I'm sorry. So I'm going to try to kind of scoot them up because I don't think you can see the whole picture. There you go. So, pile number 3. What are some of your artistic talents? I think it's an interesting not card placement, but I think that you would be the embodiment of some of pile 1 and 2. I don't feel that maybe you were attracted to those when you were undecided, but I think that you cover some of their descriptions. I'm trying not to say too much, but for this pile, I think that your preference, I think most of you like to work at night, but you could also be working from day to night, and you work yourself probably to the bone. I think that you guys don't feel exactly, maybe you're not, the reason why you work this long is because it doesn't make you feel tired. I feel like you probably are an energizer bunny. You have so much creativity and so much to show off to people that I don't think it really bothers you to be working so much in your artistic talents. I think you think of it as it's de-stressing to you, and I think it makes you happy. So I think that's why you do encompass some of these descriptions in pile 1 and 2. So for you, I've noticed that you guys have a lot of yellow and blue, and that's why I say that also. So if you'd like to go back to those piles, if you want to, you don't have to, but I'm just going to kind of gloss it over. I think that you guys work with these colors a lot, or you could be working day to night. I also think that you could be requiring some of your talents to work outside, but also work inside. And I think that you overall, I feel like you're up and down, but you have so much creativity. There's pentacle, cup, pentacle, cup. So I feel that you create, you show off and sell, create, show off and sell. I think that you're in a cycle. I think that you like your cycles. I think you have a rhythm, and you like to go in and out, in and out, in and out, socialize, go back to, drawing board, do your things. That's what I feel. I feel that this pile also creates to sell their work, their artistic work. I think that you also like with the example, Page of Pentacles over here on the left side. I think that you create things with your hands. I think that you could possibly, maybe you like to do ceramics. I feel that you like to do pottery. You could be doing crocheting, things that it's like almost like, I use both of my hands. Look, everybody, I created this, and now it's going to make me something bigger in the long run, because you went from 1, I know it's a page, but it's 1 pentacle to 6 of pentacles. So you went from 1 to 6. So you duplicate these, or you make a lot of these, and they make you revenue. And then you also, I know it's like 9 to 8, but it's still, it's not that far out. Of Cups, sorry. I think they put a lot of emotion and creativity and passion. It creates a lot of passion in you. I think that you have to sit down sometimes. I think you go to markets and sell your items, and you sit and like really cute, they're like art walk style things, and markets or like little venues where you can possibly sell your things and show off to people. And that's how you kind of approach people, and they come to you and they just adore you and they love it and they cherish you and they kind of praise you for all the work that you do. And you go ahead and give them some of your pieces, some of your artwork. I think overall it's pretty interesting. But yeah, these are some of the things that I know I haven't gone too much into artistic talents, but I think these are some of the things that you've created because of your artistic talents. I think you can also, I think that it requires you to sit down, and maybe you also just, you like to interact with people, I feel. For this pile, maybe you have to be sitting in the computer. Maybe you have to market yourself online. Maybe you have to design, be a graphic designer, be an illustrator, be an animator perhaps as well. You entertain people. You can be, you could be a cake decorator too. That second card for the 9 of Cups, I think of cake decorating because of the attire. I think the big poofy hat, cake decorator, pastry shop you could work in. I think of chef. Maybe you like cooking too as well. You could be a chef, a culinary school. You could be doing these types of stuff, art stuff, like beautiful pieces of food where you show off and people love it. People eat it. They eat it off your hand. And perhaps you're also a teacher. You like being an art teacher and you show people how to create their own stuff. But again, these are just some. Maybe you like to, you can do makeup too. I didn't think of that. I know it's like giving out, but you could be giving samples of your work or showing off some of the things that you do, like give your business cards. But I think art teachers also do this. Like they don't do this specifically, but they kind of just teach kids or teach students, not necessarily kids, but teach students how to make their own artwork. You give a little, but you get a little for yourself, but you give a little. There's space for everyone, I think. I think that's the kind of mentality that you have. Not so competitive. You're very giving and very open to sharing as well your abilities and teaching others how to make their own revenue. I think that you could possibly make your own jewelry too. You could be I guess a person who kind of I'm trying to think of this artsy job, not jobs, why am I something that requires you to be sitting down for long extended periods of time and then having to go and walk around, or like it's like a desk artistic ability. Imagine yourself like the people who do, I think of also the people who do, I don't remember this word, but you've seen it where they do these little beads and then they put the hot iron plate over it and then it melts and it creates the figure. They could be doing this also. You could also be into making puzzles and you like to show it off, for example. So again, these are just some examples. And then with the last card, you can walk away from this feeling satisfied. So maybe you also like to be esoteric talents. You could use these talents to basically teach people about their birth charts and astrology. I know these aren't specific, like I'm just thinking of how to approach these, right? And I think that's how you approach, like you can leave it and go and you're fully satisfied. I think these are some examples. Again, not everyone will have the same, but I think that your talents really require you to kind of be pretty stable and maneuver energies from left and right and maneuver in and out. You go in, you go out. It's very balanced, I feel. So I feel this pile is very balanced with their artistic talents. Your talents are very likable, very easy. I think they're very stable. And that's why I say these are like the safer options typically. Like I think of pottery, I think of drawing, I think of painting, I think of art dealers too, pastry chefs, people who work in these industries. I don't think so much gardening on this one. Maybe you like the stars. The reason why I said astrologer is also because there's an outside source of moon, there's a night sky, and I feel this man or woman is outside looking at his cups, and I feel that's why I think of astrology. You're someone that looks at the stars. Astronomy too, you could like to do look at the stars with telescopes and stuff. I think of you as someone who works with birth charts, because it doesn't have to be like it could be Vedic, Western, Chinese. There's other, I'm sure there's like numerology too as well. sacred numbers, things like that. There's so much divine tools that you can use, and I think that sometimes it requires you to be time consuming inside, but then you go out and you put your practice to use, right? So I really hope you like this pile 3. I hope it resonated. Some of these messages some of these messages, I get ahead of myself, are not always meant for you, but some of them are. So only check what resonates, leave what didn't. If you were attracted to pick a different pile, go ahead and pick that pile. There could be a message there for you. Otherwise, you don't have to, but go ahead and select any other video in my channel. I have a lot if you want to. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening. Have a good day, everybody, because you needed a good day, not because I told you to. And I'll see you in a different video. So, bye-bye, everybody. Have a good day.